Well, alright everyone, welcome back to another Game Vault video. As always, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault, and we're going to talk about the Ghost of Yotei again. It seems like America, and these American Western studios, well, I'll say Western studios because Ubisoft is from France, cannot get Japan right. And, yeah, so we got a rumor. Sony executives are not happy with initial Ghost of Yotei response, and developers were blindsided with new female character. Let's cue up the music, and we'll talk about this. Alright, so a new rumor claims that Sony executives are seemingly not happy with the response to the announcement trailer for Ghost of Yotei, and that a number of developers were blindsided by the new female character, Atsu. YouTuber Endymion shared this information from an alleged insider. He said apparently Ghost of Yotei blindsided many people that were working at Sony who were not made aware of what Sucker Punch was making. Now, I don't understand how that happens. I would figure if you're giving a studio what I would assume is a butt ton of money, 100 million, maybe more, or whatever, you're going to kind of keep an eye on what they're doing, and not leave them to their own devices, especially if you look at the number of failures that are out there lately. They need somebody to oversee the development of these games, not just like not to nitpick them, but just to kind of look at the broad vision of them and kind of correct things on a large scale, where it's like, okay, you're going to come to me, I'm offering my services, Sony, I'll do it. I guarantee you, if you put me in charge of that, you will not have bombs like Concord. There will not be games like Dustborn, and you're not going to have reactions like you did for Yoshi here, or I'm sorry, the Ghost of Yotei here. You're not going to have these kind of reactions. It's going to be all positive all the time, except for the wrong people. They'll be pissed off about it. But they can go pound sand because you're going to sell millions and millions of games. But anyway, yeah, you would think somebody would be overseeing that and would get this across their desk and be like, well, wait a minute. Why are we not sticking with the same character and giving him a proper sequel? Everybody loved him. Everybody wants to see more of him, right? Yeah, sometimes you can get a little fatigue with an IP after a while and be like, all right, well, we've done a lot of adventures with this character. Maybe it's time to retire him and move on to something else, or give him a break for a while, whatever. You see it in movies, you see it in video games. Sometimes they'll just, they'll take a break and, whatever. Now, they could be looking at doing this series like a Assassin's Creed type series. Assassin's Creed did have, Ezio return a few times. So, it's not always about the same character all the time. So, I don't know, but the reaction was pretty mixed, and overall, I think a lot worse than it should have been. This should have been a banger. This should have been a slam dunk that everybody went, yes! Because nobody out there was going, I hope the Ghost of Tsushima sequel has a female protagonist. Nobody was saying that. Anyway, he added, there are people that people in the mid-levels of Sony were actually confused when Yotei was announced because they were under the impression that Jin Sakai would be getting a sequel. Endymion also shared, and they're not happy at all when it comes to the response of that game either internally at Sony right now. The game received mixed reactions, with a number of top comments bemoaning Sucker Punch abandoning Jin Sakai's story. One lamented, imagine hearing about Jin as a legendary folktale quest. Another wrote, Ghost of was the best idea to stick with. This way they can tell loads of different stories from different eras showing pretty cool characters. And that's a valid point right there. But again, the female character, while isn't necessarily a bad thing, and I'm not against a female main character. I love playing as Jill Valentine. I love playing as Aloy before they made her into a buffoon in the second game, especially the DLC for it. Lara Croft, no problem playing with good female characters. That's not the issue. The issue is the character, the actress they hired to play her is a piece of crap, and I can't support the game because of that. And I'm sorry. Anyway, this is set in 1600, turn of Sengoku Jidai period to Edo, 400 years after Jin Sakai wrote Defunct 140. 1603 is the establishment of the Tokugawa shogunate, and Yotei is a major mountain in Hokkaido, northernmost island of Japan, which leads me to believe we'll be able to explore Hokkaido. Exciting stuff, lots to explore. I hope I'm not butchering these names too bad. But anyway. So, yeah, here's somebody saying, as Japanese, I'm very pleased with the presentation of this game. I visit Hokkaido every year. Although the climate is harsh, there is magnificent nature and wonderful scenery. In 1600, the central government ruled only piecemeal, and the local people called Ajnu lived by hunting. For this reason, the region has a background that is very different from mainstream Japanese culture. I look forward to seeing how this will be portrayed in the game. That's an interesting point right there. Jin is literally a ghost now, ripped. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Again, the time period change isn't the end of the world. The character change, it just feels like a bad idea right now, considering all that's going on in the industry and all the games that are failing because of similar reasons. And that reason is DEI. And this is exactly what people think this is about. Whether it is or not, we don't know. But, I mean, I think it is. I think it is. And if we look, they have kind of a pattern to this. Last of Us kind of went that way. There's other games that Sony does that the sequel tends to be more female-focused than the original game. And that's sad. And that gets to be kind of annoying. It's like, well, why are we doing that? Why don't we just keep up with the same character and keep moving forward? I don't know. Anyway, one person pilloried the game, comparing it to Assassin's Creed Shadows. Sucker Punch saw AC Shadows and said, all right, hold my sake. Another offered a similar sentiment. Ubisoft, we are finally introducing samurais to Assassin's Creed. Sucker Punch, here, hold my sake for a second time. Hopefully Jin is still going to be mentioned in the game, probably as a legend, about how an 8-foot-tall demon called the Ghost beat the Mongols out of Japan, wrote Drifter while hungry. Anne Rin wrote, I never expected them to make this IP into an anthology series of different time periods and places in Japan. I think they made the right choice. And another shared, people of Izo, Hokkaido, call Mount Yotei with Makaranapuri, or Female Mountain, and someone mentioned the mountain is believed to have power to strengthen women's energy. What a way to choose a scene and a protagonist. This is what we call artists actually doing their research. Now, if that's the reason they made a female character, then I'm 100% for it, because that is exactly right. Artists doing their research. If that's the reason they made it, that they, changed things up and all that, and said, you know what, we're gonna play on this inside the game and all that, I have zero problem with that, because it's kind of cool. It's kind of like women are associated with the moon. So if you had a character in the moon influence this character in some way, shape, or form, it would be interesting and neat, and it would be authentic, dare I say. I just can't get past that stupid actress they got, and that's what's ruining it. But yeah, so. Oh, what else we got here? Mythical Tale, Legacy of the Ghost, Rewards, Ghost Armor, Sakai Clan Armor, Sakai Clan Katana. Anyway, outside of the trailer, Sony and Sucker Punch were heavily criticized for featuring a female character in a formerly male-led franchise, with many pointing to Sony's diversity and inclusion policies. Brazilian Gamer, Cabrutus Rambo, the creator of Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, Steam Curator List, and DEIDetected.com posted on X, but the female protagonist in the next Ghost of game is not because of DEI reasons. Below we have Sony's latest corporate report released yesterday. The signs are there. Don't be surprised if we discover things about this game in the future. And here it is, the corporate report 2024. Engage talented individuals, work environments, yada yada, diverse characteristics and styles of life to work passionately, diversity, equity, inclusion. I mean, this is just one page pulled from it, page 31 or whatever. But yeah, as you can see, this is still a thing. It recently revised the diversity, equity, and inclusion statement for the first time in 10 years to showcase its attitude to diversity. 10 years. Sony works to globally promote greater opportunities for women as part of its efforts to ensure inclusive work environments. That's not working, Sony. Stop with that. As of March 31st, the percentage of women in Sony's workforce was 34%, and that of management positions held by women was 30% across the Sony group. So yeah, they're still pushing this kind of stuff here, and nothing against women. I love women. There's plenty of wonderful women out there and fantastic and all that, but I've worked with women, and I'm just gonna leave it at that right now. Yeah. YouTuber Dread Roberts also posted, Ghost of Yotei is Sony's next big game. To think that they wouldn't shove DEI in their most anticipated title is ignorant. Yeah, he's not wrong. There are only so many signs that people can withstand before they start asking questions, and we're now at that point. Just because the 3-minute long trailer doesn't outright say it in your face doesn't mean it isn't in there, but we should know this by now, he added. And that's the thing. That's what you're going to have happen. And we're going to see more and more of this now. They're going to try to hide this stuff, right? They can't hide the protagonist, obviously. So if this fails, you know, and it's not going to do nearly the numbers they anticipated because of this. Not just because of the female character. Some people are going to hate it just because of that. I'm not that guy. I hate it because of the actress. That's the guy I am. And that's, you know, I can't be hypocritical, right? I always say I don't want to give money to people who hate me. You know, not knowingly. You know, it's one thing to unknowingly do it, but knowingly I don't want to do it. And I know this woman hates me and hates people like me, so she's not getting my money. Ex-user Not Axel Carnage also wrote, as if it wasn't already written on the wall with the VA's beliefs in advocating of trans rights, now we know Sony is still pushing the agenda of DEI. This game is no different than AC Shadows, Suicide Squad, Concord. Yeah, talk about the VA's the voice actress. Midrill added, Ghosts of Yotei is 100% going to be a woke DEI fest. Screw Sony, may they lose money hand over foot, and may their market value crash. You know, they might take some hits. Like Ubisoft does. It's a much more diverse company and all that, but still, they're not above this, right? They are not above this. Look what happened to Bud Light, one of the hugest beer distributors in the United States, if not the hugest. When they got that clown Dylan Mulvaney out in front and advertising for them, these guys took a monster dump and lost so much value. I don't think they've ever recovered it. It's insane. It's insane what the consumer can do. And this is what you do. If you don't like this stuff, don't buy it. Don't pre-order it. Don't pay for it. Don't even buy it on sale. Let it go. There's a million games out there to play right now. I've got a backlog that I could probably live the rest of my life and never buy another game and not finish it, okay? So, you know, yeah. Talk with your wallet. Don't support these companies. Former chairman for Sony, Shawn Laden, threw fuel on the fire. Oh, I love this. When he reacted to a post from YouTuber Mighty Queef calling Endymion an absolute loser, Laden posted, "It's a game and entertainment, a story a team of creators believe in. They want to make this." And then he added too, "It's a game. Here's my favorite part. If you don't like it, don't buy it. In fact, why not make the game you want yourself?" I always like that one when they throw that in the end. It's like, well, fuck you. I'm not a game. I don't make games, bro. You know? It's not on me to make a game that I want because I'm not a developer. I pay you to make a game I want, but if you're going to make a piece of shit game that I'm not going to like, then you're right. I'm not going to buy it. And then you're going to be mad, and you're going to go on it, you know, when the game comes out and it only sells X amount of copies, as you know, and it's way underperforming, and you're going to go out there and you're going to blame me. Well, it's the white man because he didn't like the game. Piss off, bro. You told me not to buy it. I'm not buying it. What? These assholes got to get out of this industry, I swear to God. On top of all this, Sucker Punch hired a radical activist in Erika Ishii, and this was my bone of contention, to play Atsu. And casting directors have made it clear they cast individuals to push DEI agenda and woke ideology. Yeah, we see this all throughout movies and TV. The Witcher casting director Sophie Holland told Acting Up via Variety, "I'm always the first to champion diversity in all its glory. One that springs to mind was the character of Yennefer on The Witcher. Lauren Schmidt Hisrich is the showrunner, and we work so well together, and she's so open to conversations. In the book, she's described as the most beautiful woman in the world. That was a few years ago, and I'd like to think things have changed. But when you think about people's unconscious bias, especially in the fantasy world, it felt like these worlds were predominantly white, and they were." And I remember saying, this is what, a Polish author, and this is based on Polish folklore or something like that. Poles are pretty white, guys. I don't know if you ever noticed that. But I remember saying, I feel like we need to challenge what people think of as the standard of beauty and have a woman of color in this world does incredibly powerful things to the people watching. No, it doesn't. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, not only are individuals like Ishii cast to push the DEI agenda, but Ishii has a history of radical activism. You can go find her on X, and yeah, you'll see she is just a delight to read. And it's like, you know, and this is only going to help her amplify it, you know, by using her role as Atsu. This is putting her in the spotlight right now. And there's nothing these people like more than being in the spotlight, because now they're going to be out there and they're going to think they're important and they're going to think their message means something when it really doesn't mean jack squat. She posted in June 2020, jackboot thugs violently breaking up a peaceful violin vigil. You can hear people screaming, "They're children!" This can't be anymore. Defund the police. Dumbass. You can't defund the police. I'm no fan of cops overall, but I understand they do have a purpose in society, and defunding the police, you end up with anarchy everywhere. First off, you want to take away the guns, and then you want to defund the police. What are we going to do, throw rocks at each other? Fuck off. Ishii also appeared to support the failed Hogwarts Legacy boycott. She posted in February 2023, just ahead of the game's release. "I used to love Harry Potter. Went to every midnight release. Cosplayed. Was even in a Harry Potter-themed improv group. Now, what a dork. Now I'm happy to instead support and be part of fantasy narratives where all are welcome. Trans community, we deserve our own better magic. I always fight for that." She included a video of her stating, "F TERFs." Are you trans? Is she trans? I mean, what is she? She's ugly as hell, that's all I know. Just a freaky looking woman. In a subsequent post she added, "Muting but want to reiterate, trans rights are human rights. I asked this instead of replying to negative comments to turn that effort toward positive action. A donation, sharing, supporting trans creators and trans joy, or checking in with your trans friends and their happiness." Yeah, no thanks. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys think Sony was blindsided by this? You don't think they were watching this and knew this was being developed? I mean, this is Sony's way of doing things lately, and it's really getting disappointing. We look at God of War, Ragnarok, and we had our Black Jotun, our frost giant, that's Angerboda, who was played by a black actress and portrayed as a black character in the game. And I'll say this once again, and I say it every time I mention her, I loved the job she did. I thought she was great. But that character just took you right out of it. That and her grandmother, who was also black. For some reason, the giants were black. I don't know. It's absolutely weird. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications. On behalf of Western Civilization Japan, I apologize. We're not all like that. Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, peace.